Hey, welcome back to another Shakuhachi video, and we are going to be looking over Assassin's Creed Shadows, all of the Shakuhachi pieces that appear in the video game. So we have the first one here, which I believe is the hideout piece. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this one. So in this piece, I don't notice or recognize it or anything like that. It's not a piece that I'm familiar with in terms of like it comes from this region, it has this title or name. However, it does have some of those aspects of the folk music. Now, before we get into the actual piece itself, I do want to talk a little bit about the shakuhachi that's being used here. So, the shakuhachi here is much more of like a modern shakuhachi, even just with like the bell ending, the thicker bamboo, even the tuning, and so on and so forth. So, the anachronism is that this particular shakuhachi wasn't around during this time period. Oda Nobunaga actually had a vassal named Omori Sokun, who was a shakuhachi player. But the shakuhachi that he played was this one here, much shorter. And so Omori Sokun wrote a bunch of stuff actually about shakuhachi, and he taught it. And apparently, even one of the people that learned it was Tokugawa Ieyasu. So there's a story that Tokugawa Ieyasu also played this flute in his childhood, and that flute apparently still exists in a Buddhist museum somewhere or at one of the temples. And I could probably pull that up later, put it in the comments below. But anyway, so this is the Hitoyogiri. And just to give you a sound idea of it, this is what it sounds like. So way different than the sound quality of this particular instrument that we're hearing now. Okay, now even the next step after that, there is another instrument called a miyogiri, but we'll leave that out for right now. We have this one. This is an actual Edo era shakuhachi from Kyoto, and you can see that compared to the modern shakuhachi, it's much thinner. The hole sizes are also different too, and the timbral quality, though it's closer to the modern shakuhachi, it's still quite different. So if I play the opening of what he just played, it's something like, right? It doesn't have that sort of boominess that the modern shakuhachi does. So if I move to my modern instrument, right, that's much more closer to what we would hear today, especially in like today's modern minyo sounds. So that's the first thing I've noticed about this. But yeah, this particular piece I don't recognize. It's not one that I'm aware of at all. But it does have some of those flares. So for example, that's very common in minyo. We hear that all the time. And when I say minyo, I mean folk music. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this capture. And the other ones will be here on this one. So we'll move, exit that one, and then we have to bring this one up. There we go. These ones come into this folder. Okay, so here's our next one, and I have this one listed as Iga. So we'll go ahead and go here. So this is Iga. So the first thing here on this one does actually sound a little bit more like another piece, but it isn't that piece. Um, to me, and also they're using a different sized flute here. So this one is a 1.6. So for those who are not shakuhachi players who happen to stumble across this channel, shakuhachis come in a bunch of different sizes. So here's two of them. The one above is tuned in D, and the one below that is tuned in E. And I think that's what this guy is playing on this one is a 1.6. It sort of sounds like, or he's just really getting a nice clear sound on one of those half hold notes. So I actually hear this one as sounding a little bit like Choja no Yama, a little bit, because it has like that this sort of sound, that kind of a little flair in the music again, which is very very common in the menial world. So his is like or that kind of sound. Now in Choja no Yama, there's a if I play the opening of the piece, so kind of like those flares are what I get in this piece. Let's just listen to a little bit more. Yeah, like that. So you get that right, and that I kind of get that kind of feeling coming from that. So it's not Chojo no Yama, but at least there's a little bit of that sort of flair of that traditional work that's in there. And so I have to also, by the way, give a shout out to Lord Takahashi on YouTube for providing all of these videos. By the way, thank you so much. It's been nice to listen to them. So yeah, there's that one. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one. This one is Izumi Setsu. Yeah, much shorter flute on this one. Ah, okay. Those sort of lines right there. And the other ones seem to have a little bit more of like sort of have like a stronger rhythmic sense to it. This one doesn't. And there's a specific genre of tunes that are called oiwake that sound like this. So again, this is not a tune that I recognize, but it reminds me of something like Eisashi Oiwake. So like kind of what I heard, I'm gonna kind of transpose a little bit. I hear kind of like that kind of sound that's happening here in this third one. So here would be a little bit of a Eisashi Oiwake. So something like that. And of course, I probably messed up a few of the notes there. I'm trying to basically playing everything from memory here. But that's looks like that's where the inspiration of this piece is. Okay, the next one is in key. Hmm. Yeah, and there's that like again, it's I'm not really sure I can even place anything that sounds similar to this one. So this is the second key piece, right? Yeah. This one's a little bit strange. I can't pick up anything here that sounds like anything that I'm aware of. So I'm gonna move on from that one. That line's really common. I know a bunch of pieces that have that. Ah, that is. Oh, okay. That is Nagasaki Bura Bushi and Aikawa Ondo mixed together. It seems. Let me pull up those two. So I have. So the I think that we'll start with Nagasaki Bura because that one is a lot closer. So I'll play right from the spot that I think it's actually quoting. Um, right, and like it's really close to that. Like there's a lot of elements that are shared. The other one, let me listen again. It does repeat itself. So like there's that little part. That the other thing too. There's another piece. There's a King Kira Kin has that kind of. So that piece also has similar lines like that too that I think fit in. The last one is that I was talking about is the Aikawa Ondo. In Aikawa Ondo, there's this one part. And that like da yadi ya da da dum, that little bit at the end there is what I was hearing in some of those phrases too. So it's interesting. It's not any of those pieces, but it's this one in particular really gets me to think of a lot of different works, which I think makes it a very successful rendition for this video game. Okay, let me go ahead and get my Finder back up so I can do the next one. So the next one is Omi. This part makes me start to think of something. Um, it's not close or anything like that, but it does make me think of Akita Obako, which is another northern tune from the in the name you can even tell it's from Akita. So it's close and inside Tsugaru country. Um, right? So there's like that feel is in there. Okay. So again, not a tune that I recognize in here, and I don't think that any of these are going to be tunes that I recognize, but there are things that are similar to well-known folk songs in Japan. Okay, the next one is Yamato. So let's go ahead and listen to here. There's a Yamato. No, Yamashiro is the next one. So yeah, this is definitely not one that I recognize at all. And I don't. This would be nothing. Nothing comes to mind right away of any tunes that sound similar to it. However, there are tunes that are centered more around the tsu pitch for shakuhachi, which is if you center the note around there, it becomes a little bit brighter in tone. So like I think maybe Iyasaka Ondo would be something that kind of gets you that feeling. Um, right? So then if I take that and I kind of do some of the shorter sounds that he does. And then you kind of get that feeling of it. So maybe that's where the player was drawing that inspiration from. Okay, so I think we have just a couple more here. So let's check out Yamato. By the way, Yamato is where I live. That's Nara, Japan. Wait a minute. That's the same as the first one that we did. That's the same as the first one, for sure. Yeah, because the hideout was that. Yeah, that's the same piece. Okay, well, that solves that issue. So we can move on to the next one. Okay, I think there is, let's see, he sent me two more. There it is, two more Komuso. All right, so Harima Town. And I believe these are the same. He's not getting his alms today if you don't play. He's using a very low flute. I wonder if he's using a 2.3. Check, because it sounds like a tsu. Yeah, he's using a 2.4. So this is the 2.4 flute. He's using that, right? So you can see the difference in the length there. I guarantee this is Kyore. Next note is this. Or they'll get Sude again, and then we'll get the ooze. Ah, well, there you go. There's that note. Yep, and then it has the medi. Okay, so yeah, this is the piece Kyore. So this is one of the older tunes from Fudaiji Temple. So this one is actually an old Komuso tune. So this is very fitting. Like that perfectly fits this sort of context. Well, minus being off by 200 years in history, but hey, it's a video game. I did take a look at some of the other tunes as well. There was only one other tune that I could find in the audio that really had a lot of shakuhachi in it. That was one of my kind of criticisms of the video game, is that I wanted to have a lot more shakuhachi. So it's called Matters of the Heart. So we'll go ahead and listen to this one together really quickly, because this is the only one that has major shakuhachi stuff in it. Let's go ahead and get this to full. So that like opening line there too, that like opening line, he's using a 1.6 shakuhachi, and so it fits really nice on the instrument too, because he's going. Another Ray. So then here, this is how he's playing that. So a really nice, beautiful melody here in the opening. So this stuff sounds like a lot more, very, very Shakuhachi esque in terms of like just tone colors. The other ones were like all the other previous ones. They just sound like uh, standard folk songs or like variations off of folk songs. Let's do a little bit more of this one because it's good. This is good music. Nice strings and stuff. And I think the Shakuhachi comes in. Yeah, there you go. So that's just the same melody again. Yeah, re-marry, re-row. So, but this is the only track that I could really find with that has like a lot of shakuhachi in it besides the Komuso stuff in there. So, of course, as a shakuhachi player, I would love to have more shakuhachi stuff happening in this game. But overall, I think that this track is by far the strongest. Matters of the Heart. The other ones I have written down here. So we had the like all of the different hidden Komuso. I think Kyore was really nice. That fit the environment really well. I wish it was on the same size flute. And then all the other ones previously, um, I thought, here would have been a really cool idea to take folk songs from each one of those regions, right? So if you were in Kyoto, I mean, there's Kyoto pieces. You could have done Kin Kira Kin, or if you were in Nagasaki, you could have done Nagasaki Bura Bura Bushi. If you were in Akita, you could have did Akita Obako or one of the Tsugaru tunes. If you were in Hirosaki, Yamato, you could have done Yoshino no Yama. That would have been a really cool tune to have as well. All of these melodies from those locations. But hey, a man can dream, huh? So if you like this video, subscribe, like, share, all the stuff. I'll see you guys next time for another video.